We will today talking about further fermentation and more recent advancement in pathway strategies. My today talk would be based on fewer article written by team of Malaysia, Thailand, Ecuador, and India, and leadership of Professor Yadav from Madhya Kankar University in India, and thus is when moving because hydrogen needs two bacteria, strict, which are more sensitive for oxygen, and insensitive, and which are strictly and supplementary, which are growing like Enterobacter or Escherichia coli, which protects these strict bacteria for, and this is aim or this work how to mix the bacteria to have quite resistant technology and stable. And this work show us potential. The both bacteria needs to be for stimulation of hydrogen production needs treatment. Professor Yadav makes advances of hydrogen as big replacement candidate of fossil fuel because are clean, and if we storage solve problem will be quite cheap because water and ammonia are quite often and uncommon, and waste needs to be used. There is also splitting. He mentioned about ammonia and microbial electrolysis and Haber process as very important storing case that can be used, and this production renewals and zero emission idea because it utilizes that fermentation waste and can be also water fermentation, but water fermentation is less controllable because less reliable because it requires the sun and solar, which is quite variable, which is most suitable, and needs to be for stable some stimulation of light, which wasn't right now efficient. And the that pathway he mentioned about tower wool, which shows that in natural bacteria we don't have very much yield in case of hydrogen production by anaerobic bacteria because tower wool says that in Gibbs energy the most suitable possible is putting pathway due to the lowest Gibbs energy, which is but more suitable and optimally can be only acetic, which is 4 molecules for 1 molecule for glucose, but it's the highest, still negative, because we cannot produce more, because more would be mean positive Gibbs energy. How in case of pyruvic cycle, because the natural break simple organic matter to pyruvic acid that is transformed in the metal to the acetic or butyric acid and forming a side product hydrogen. Of course, there are genetics trial, but it is the strategy which not fully. The highest consumption, and as we see, the concern is China. And China seeks, but corn waste and rice waste, corn waste like and sodas was too little. So requires much more suitable waste material. The work is also saying that partial pressure is very important because it allows to the changes depend of hydrogen's pathway. At low partial pressures is more favorable because better is reduce of acetone of lactic. So more is acetic conversion in incredibly low partial pressure. So little space would be could be useful, but little space means low volume, possibly low volumetric clay. The alkalinity is pH 6 and 5, and ammonia rate needs to be dropped because if grows alkalinity for ammonia 2.4 more, the production of hydrogen stop. The organic load bacteria, so feeling how often rate it can be is also very big because not many attempts are made. But mostly use is between 100 and 200 grams per liter. But the Professor Yadav comments that better, according to his knowledge, due to hydraulic retention time, is one between range 30 to 120 grams of chemical oxygen demand, so done per day. In case of pH, is 6 or 5, but propose more research is 6. There are also some attempts to 4, but it increase butyric acid shifting, but can increase conversion. The factors in substrate feed. And this metabolic engineering. Genesis. And enzymes are nickel iron hydrogenase and iron iron. This way, salts or ionic salts help in production of hydrogen. And that's all thinking and showing mostly suitable. The change of thinking is that temperature should be not 33 in case of mesophilic, but 37 or 45. Professor Yadav doesn't show that much about thermophilic. However, There are also some similarly higher, but not talk and not be due to higher energy requires for input. He doubts about future. And this is all wanted to say. Thank you very much for listening.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم